With the announcement that Netflix will be producing a TV series based on The Witcher, fans of the video games and books alike have been speculating as to who would be the perfect fit for the lead role of Geralt of Rivia. Geralt is a witcher, a traveling monster slayer for hire, a threatening, cynical, and apathetic badass who is cold on the outside despite harboring a good sense of humor and a fierce sense of loyalty to the few that he considers friends. He's a character that no one wants to see butchered, that's for sure. So today we're counting down our picks for the best casting choices for the series protagonist, with our list of the top 10 actors who should play Geralt the Witcher. Starting us off in at number 10, Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy is a bit of an acting chameleon. The man has shown that he's capable of playing a diverse selection of roles and fully committing to them, the likes of Bane, Mad Max, and John Fitzgerald in The Revenant. And while he doesn't have the physically imposing height that Geralt seems to boast, he's willing to make sacrifices to achieve the right aesthetic. When he played Bane in The Dark Knight Rises, he wore platform shoes in order to make the character more intimidating. Plus, dude is like pretty hot. He might not be your atypical pretty boy, but neither is Geralt, and both exude a similar kind of sex appeal. And at number 9, Gerard Butler. Gerard Butler may not be the first name that comes to mind when thinking of a live-action Geralt, but once you give it some thought, he could totally work. Remember him in 300? That kind of gruffness is exactly what could work for Geralt. Plus, as the internet has pointed out, his character in Attilia looks quite similar to Geralt at times, minus the darker colored hair. The question that many people wonder though is whether or not he'd be able to bring Geralt's specific brand of brooding to life, and if he has the chops to accurately portray him. But hey, if given the chance, he might surprise us. And at number 8, Taylor Kitsch. There's been a lot of debate over whether the Witcher series will follow a younger Geralt, or one that's a bit older. If the series were to explore Geralt's days as a young Witcher, many people would be on board to see Taylor Kitsch take on the role. Now if you're unsure about how he'd be able to pull off Geralt's look, take a look at him in John Carter. And maybe forget everything else about John Carter really. Kitsch has pulled off the quiet and broody type before, and with a little work, there's a solid chance that he could pull Geralt off too. And at number 7, Travis Fimmel. You'll probably recognize Travis the most as Ragnar Lothbrok in Vikings, a role that has him playing as bloody and gruesomely as some of the best on this list. He's got the right kind of face for Geralt, and even though he probably comes off as being really charming and cocky in Vikings, we think he'd be able to adapt to Geralt's personality and pull it off. And at number 6, Luke Evans. Luke Evans has earned his stripes in the fantasy genre. From The Hobbit to Immortals to Dracula Untold, he knows how to pull off a period piece and don armor like he was born for it. Evans is known for being a great physical actor too, so he'd be able to pull off some of the more physically demanding requirements for Geralt, and look damn good while fighting off monsters. Others have noted that the actor's voice would provide a nice familiarity to the Geralt that we know and love in the video games, despite his face not quite being what many of us imagine Geralt to look like. Let's give Luke Evans a chance. Up next at 5, Karl Urban. Karl Urban is yet another actor on this list with an extensive amount of experience in the fantasy genre. Just take one look at him in The Lord of the Rings. Dude rode into Helm's Deep like a total badass and cut through an onslaught of orcs like they were butter. Then, in Dredd, he portrayed the iconic Judge Dredd, and busted out a much more serious side. While Urban may be a tad physically off to play Geralt, from an acting skill perspective, he would be able to bring that necessary oomph that Geralt needs. That oomph being the capability to kill lots of things and look really cool while doing it. And at number 5, Anson Mount. One look at Anson and you can tell that he's a bit of a badass. Boasting the kind of physically imposing stature that Geralt needs, Anson, who you may recognize from Marvel's Inhumans, has a lot more skill than some of his recent roles have given him credit for. In Marvel's Inhumans, he plays the king of the Inhumans, Black Bolt, who has a destructive hypersonic voice. Therefore, he often remains completely mute. And when Mount does speak in real life, his voice has the kind of heft that would be fitting of Geralt. The kind of intensity that Mount brought to that role would be great for the character. Here's hoping that if he plays the Witcher though, the writing that he'll have to work with will be much better than what he had in the Inhumans. And at number 3, Nikolaj Coster-Waldau. Nikolaj is most well known for playing Sir Jaime Lannister in Game of Thrones, a part that he's not only shown off his chops on the battlefield, but has really exhibited his ability for range when it comes to tackling a complex character. He's come a long way, from being a total royal twat to a handless, jaded man, who has been broken on many an occasion, and lost so much to the feuding of Westeros. We've seen him cleaned up and we've seen him all rugged, and he's a total sex symbol in both respects. Plus he's got the jawline and eyes that would be fitting of Geralt's, matching up with the physical characterization in the video game quite well. He's also a pretty safe bet for the series for producers, since Nikolaj is well known with audiences and would likely attract viewers unfamiliar with the Witcher franchise. And at number 2, Viggo Mortensen. Viggo is no stranger to fantasy series. Probably the closest physically to Geralt on this list, Viggo's days as Aragorn in the Lord of the Rings trilogy proves that he's up to the task of what playing the Witcher would demand physically. It sure as hell wouldn't be his first rodeo in that kind of genre. He's also shown in his previous work that he has the capacity to play complex, cold character, and can be utterly ruthless when necessary. A man of many talents, Viggo has been nominated for 2 Oscars over the years, so you can bet that he would bring his best to Geralt. And finally, in at number 1, Mads Mikkelsen. Mads Mikkelsen is often the forerunner amongst fans when it comes to an actor playing Geralt. For some, Mads is dream casting. Most people may recognize him as the younger Hannibal Lecter, a vicious character who is capable of being calm and collected, something that would serve the portrayal of Geralt quite well. He can definitely bring out Geralt's inner monster when need be. Mads is an attractive dude, in the same way that Geralt is, and it's easy to imagine him donning Geralt's white hair without looking incredibly cheesy, which is like pretty key. He also shares the same kind of jaw and nose as Geralt, which has made it very easy for some fans to visualize him in the role. Alright, there we have it friends, which of these actors do you think would be the best for the role? And what other actors do you think would be up to the challenge? Give us a shout in those comments below and let us know your thoughts. Now if you dug this video, spread the love, hit that like button and subscribe. We also have a nifty little playlist jam-packed with other gaming videos currently up on your screen, so go on, give it a click. In the meantime though, thanks for watching everybody. I'll catch you all in the next video.